And Luanne.
Hi, everyone. My name is Luanne Casper. I live in Apex, North Carolina. This working from home, I can't escape this light that is behind me. And if I can rearrange my living room, maybe another time, maybe you'll see me not in such vision, but I think it's a good thing. Kimball, you want me to tell a little bit about my business? Is there anything else?
Your name and your business, a little bit about that.
Sure. I own a business called Executrixie, and I help executors and families after the death of a loved one with having the right resources around them and figuring out ways to simplify their multiple tasks.
Thank you. And Emily?
Hi, I'm Emily Brack. I live in Florida. I'm from New York, but I've been in Florida for 10 years now. And I own Accent on Wellness, Therapeutic Massage, Skincare, and Colon Hydrotherapy.
That is all wonderfully exciting things. And Jeff, you want to introduce yourself? Well, maybe Jeff doesn't matter. All right. Barbara?
Yes, here I am. Hold on, I'll turn my video on. I'm not used to doing this from my phone. Hey, y'all. I'm Barbara. I'm from Snow Camp, North Carolina, and I know y'all are going to go, where in the world is that? It's in the southern part of Alamance County. And for a living, I do voice over IP phones and any type of technology IP stuff for businesses. So if it has to do with technology, I can help with it. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right. Well, today I'm Kimball, and I am a healer. I would say a healer and an entrepreneur are the things that come to mind when I think about who I am. When I was about 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a healer. I didn't know exactly what that meant. And I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family, and I've been self-employed since I was 27, which I believe is the only way that you really have job security. And about 14 and a half years ago, I found Nika, and I have been a therapist for 25 years. And at that time, I have an autoimmune disorder. I was hospitalized at Duke when I was 13, got up one morning, couldn't move, was there a week. The doctors told my family that they couldn't fix it, that I had to learn to live with it, and I did. But in 2005, they told me I had to apply for disability. And that was something that I could not apply for disability. And so I went to see a doctor who introduced me to these technologies from Japan. And I mean, I already did massage and Reiki and acupuncture. And I mean, I'm the holistic. My first chiropractic adjustment was at 2 o'clock in the morning when I was 27. There's a story behind that. And that, you know, so I'd done everything, but I got these and I created what the doctor told me about was a wellness home. He actually didn't sell the products. He sent me to a massage therapist who sold them to me. And I got the wellness home, and in 6 weeks, I was off all of my meds. And he weaned me off. I mean, I had, my copay for my meds was $160 a month, so it was a lot. And 14 and a half years later, I'm the healthiest I've ever been. And I really love this because I love sharing it with people. And this is my passion. And I have a burning desire to help people live better lives naturally. I'm not totally opposed to mainstream medicine. I think there are times that it's really beneficial. But I think the biggest thing is really getting your health at the highest level you can have by the natural things. And I think our bodies were created with the idea of nature helping them be where they can be. So today we're just going to kind of have fun and play. And I'm going to start off because if you go to a party, would it be good to have a magic trick? So my magic trick is I'm going to talk to you today. We have like 65 products, but I'm going to share 2 today that I think everybody needs. This is the old filter that I took out of my waterfall about a few weeks ago. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this red wine that I use for, this is cooking wine, and I'm going to pour it into the top here, and I'm going to let it filter down. And we're going to see what happens. And I will tell you that people are always asking me, because I'm going to turn this wine into water. Now, people are always saying, Kimball, why would you want to do that? And can't you turn water into wine? And I said, no, that was Jesus. This is Kimball. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to put that there and let it filter through, and you'll get to see that in a few minutes. And we're going to start off with something fun, because I like playing games. Has anybody ever played the jelly bean game? Okay, well, I'm going to give you a personality quiz with jelly beans. So we're going to start off, and I don't want you to think about the flavor. I mean, this isn't a jelly belly test. This is when I show the color, you tell me what it is that you like. So if you, the white jelly beans, if I've got a white jelly bean here, and I have actually black too. Anybody like white or black jelly beans?
Both.
Okay. Jenny, what do you like? Do you like white or black?
Me, I like
Black.
both. Oh,
You like, but which is your favorite?
oh my gosh, probably white.
White, okay. And Luanne, how about you? Which did you like best?
Black ones, because the licorice taste usually can calm your stomach a little bit. Although
Okay.
the sugar is a whole other story, but.
Well, let me tell you about you if you're a white jelly bean. People who are white jelly beans are highly structured and organized. They like, and this is black jelly beans as well, black and white. Likes surroundings to be neat. When given an assignment, wants to know how many pages, exact requirements. Always wants to know the rules. Memorizes things very well. Can't stand sloppy, unorganized people, and deliberate before making decisions. Now, there's a little bit of a difference in the black and white jelly beans. White jelly bean people like to control the environment and likes a lot of praise. They like to earn brownie points and get reports in weeks before the deadline. Black jelly bean people smile a lot, are enthusiastic, and always playful. In fact, they usually play around at workshops, meetings, and conferences. So if you are a white or black jelly bean person, did you find any of those characteristics similar to you?
Yep.
I think all of you, what I know of you, I think that they might. What about you, Jenny? Did you resonate with that?
For the most part, but the last part about the black didn't resonate. I don't like.
You don't like to play around?
Right, I don't play around at events or anything.
Okay. Anybody a yellow jelly bean person? No yellows, okay. How about orange jelly bean people? No oranges. How about violet or purple? Well, I'm going to have to give you violet and purple because that one is me. And violet and purple is flirty and passionate, is highly creative and highly excitable, has new ideas, can be a visionary, has a short attention span and can't stay put very long, can be disorganized, might prefer to close the door instead of dealing with the organization, can be a procrastinator who thrives on chaos, enjoys the challenges of different problems. Purple jelly bean people need fulfillment. They might question an assignment and want to do it differently. They can have a problem dealing with highly structured time, such as meetings. And that is so me. Those of you who know me know that Kimball is definitely a purple jelly bean. I did this years ago at a conference, and I fell in love with it because it was like, they say it's about 80% of correct, and it nailed me. So I was like, I'm good. So
Do I have to just pick one color? Because that's got some of me in there too.
Well, it's not anything else. We're all a little of all of these. How about the green jelly bean? Anybody a green? Well, I'm sure we don't have somebody who's a green in here because green jelly beans really love recognition. So if we had a green jelly bean person, then they would definitely be standing up. And for some reason, it doesn't have I don't have the sheet with the red jelly bean. Oh, I am so sad because we must have some. Are the rest of you that didn't raise your hand, are you red jelly beans?
Red.
Okay. I'm going to ask Jeff to see if
I am.
Please pull it up for me. See, you know, Jeff doesn't like to be on camera, but he is always my best friend, always my partner in crime. And I will tell you, I probably wouldn't get through most things if Jeff and I didn't do them together. He is the yin to my yang, that's for sure. So I just did that. It's kind of fun to think about who we are and what we're like, and we'll get back to red jelly beans. So everybody that's on here said that they were interested in having more energy. Everybody was interested in taking care of their family, protecting them. And, you know, this is a time when we are all, you know, very concerned about that. What I tell people about this virus is that viruses have been around forever and pandemics have come around forever. And what we have to do is we have to do the things to protect ourselves. You know, wearing a mask, I highly recommend it. Any of you that follow me on Facebook will know that I even walk with my mask, and there's nobody really out there, but I walk with it just to show people that they're not going to kill over dead from wearing a mask, because it's not going to happen. But keeping my distance and washing our hands, and you know, ever since Florence Nightingale, we've realized that hand washing was a good idea. So that's really not new, because Flo's been dead a long time. So, you know, these are the things we want to do. But there are other things that you want to do to help your health. And that's really what Nikken is about. And I want to tell you just a little bit about how Nikken started, because I think all of you are probably very creative people, and you have a burning desire with something that you want to bring to the world. And I want to remind you that whatever it is, that it is needed. The world needs your genius. The way that Nikken came about 45 years ago this year was in Fukuoka, Japan. Mr. Izumu Masuda worked at a bus station, really happy guy, but he had a son who was born with lots of birth defects, and probably due to radiation poisoning coming through the genes. And he needed a lot of surgeries, and he didn't have the money for it. So Mr. Masuda was looking for something to bring to the world that would bring him the money he needed for his son. That was really all he wanted. It was one man, one problem, one family. Well, he had a friend who was a German engineer living in Japan, of all places, and they went into Mr. Masuda's garage and they made the first magnetic insoles. And that was the first product we ever had. I wear them every single day. I love them. They're amazing. So just on the island of Japan, in less than 5 years, they went to $1 billion in sales. And from that, it's gone around the world. It's kind of interesting. Our company's 45th anniversary was March, and Mr. Masuda died in February, just as the pandemic was starting. But, you know, he leaves behind a legacy, because he has changed lives in 40 different countries over 45 years, because he had a problem that he wanted to solve, and he wanted to bring something wonderful to the world. And I'm forever grateful to this man, because it changed my life. And so now I'm really passionate about it, because we've got, you know, everybody but Jeff, we're all women on here. And women who take care of the families and the health. Let's be for real. It's the women. I mean, occasionally there'll be a guy, but I mean, my husband and I are both into wellness, but I'm pretty sure that he would agree with me that I'm the one that sort of says, okay, yeah, he wants to walk, but I'm the one that organizes it. And I'm the one that makes sure that what's in the pantry is healthy and good and not sprayed. I mean, it's us, it's the women. We have to bring it to our families. I mean, I think that's just the way we were made. And Nikken's kind of makes that easier. Like I said, there's 65 products, and if you want to know more about other things, I'll tell you at the end. I'll ask if anybody's got anything specific they wanted. But the two I want to just share with you today that I think are the most important for a wellness home today is our air and our water. So I'm assuming that everybody on here drinks water. And I'll just give you a little hint. Everyone needs to drink half of their body weight in water. Now, I ask this question all the time, and I know that people don't do it, but hydration is imperative. And right now, your lymph system, okay, I'm sorry, I never can stop teaching. There's a party, I taught at Carolina in the graduate and undergraduate nursing program. So, but I think it's so important. Our lymph system has to have water in order to work. And that's where the infantry is to kill viruses and everything that comes in our body. So if you're not getting water, then it's not going to happen. The other thing is you get that water in and you don't move, the lymph system does not have a pump on it. So unless you are moving your body, it's just stagnant and nothing's happened. So water is imperative. People that have backaches, people have fuzzy brains when they don't have enough, cancer, heart disease, everything, and it comes to drinking water. And people, we are one of the most dehydrated countries in the world, and it's really hard to get good, clean water. And the reason for that is, the water that comes out of your tap, there's chlorine or chloramine in it, and that will kill the bad stuff. And you want that killed because you don't want to drink bacteria. But chloramine and chlorine are toxic and they are carcinogen. So you don't really want to drink those either. And so then where do you get water? Well, tons of people in the United States around the world are getting bottled water. And bottled water is not regulated. It's in plastic that leaches, into the water. I mean, our water is a real problem. But Niken gives you alkaline water. It gives you mineralized water. It magnetizes the water. So what does that really mean? Well, it means that it will quench your thirst quicker. My mother had congestive heart failure, and I really believe that this water helped her live another year and a half. She was going to the hospital every single month with dehydration. And now I'm telling you, she never drank water. So don't let me, I didn't change her habits, but I started making her Southern tea with saccharin with this water. Anyway, she never went back to the hospital for dehydration, and she lived a year and a half longer than they told us that she would. This water is great. Athletes love it. And it's simple. There's no electric smog because it doesn't plug in. You just put the water in here. And I got a pretty glass because I like drinking out of pretty glasses. It makes me feel elegant. And there you have beautiful, clear water, and so fresh. I love it. One of my customers bought one. He loved it so much that he bought one for his sister who lives in Flint, Michigan, and you know about their water woes. And then she bought one for her son and her daughter. I mean, this water is amazing. And you don't have to go anywhere to get it. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money. And hydration is the most important thing for your health. So let me go over here. And I'll pull this out. And this has gone through. I'm going to set this down here. And I think you can see it's clear. And I'll show you what it looked like before, because you saw me pour the wine in there just to make sure that, because it's not quite as easy to see on here. And when people could come to my house, we'd do it, and then people would taste the water and you don't even taste the alcohol. That's what it did look like. So if this filter can turn wine into water, it's going to take out all of your bad stuff. And right over here, this is our water bottle, and I love this. This water bottle not only has all the properties of that filter, but it also takes out nanoparticles. This is a BPA-free bottle, but let's face it, there's a lot of stuff that comes out of plastics. It filters out all the bad stuff. It also filters out microbes. So if you're a camper, like my husband and I are, and if you happen to be out and you can't find water, you could dip it down in the pond and squeeze it and use it, and it would clean your water. And when I first came in Niken, I had a friend she was a nurse too, and she was in her 70s, and she and her husband still tent camped up in PA. And she said, when we go camping in the summer, Kimball, that's where all my water comes from. So if you know someone who's looking for a water solution, or you are, this is a great one. Now, the other thing is air. And I might have to have my husband come in here and help me because I've taken the front. There we go. All right. Air filtration is a big deal. It's a big deal if you have allergies, and it's always been known it's a big deal within flu season. And I'll move the camera in a minute so you can see this better. I'll tell you that in the last 14 and a half years, I've had an air filtration system sitting beside my chair where I see my patients every day, and I love it. And probably 8 years ago, a woman came in who had really bad emphysema, and I decided to loan it to her over the weekend. And she took it home. And the next day, I saw a lot of what I call naughty little kids. And those are the kids that are, I call them naughty. And the next night I was sick. And there was only one difference. I didn't have this air filter by my chair. Air filtration is huge. One of my customers, who's a school teacher at a private school, they're going back. He wanted his school to get one of these for his classroom because he has a lot of high risk. And they did some research. I haven't found this yet, but they said that with a mask and a good air filtration system in the room, that they could lower the risk down to -2. Now, I haven't seen that. I haven't had time to research it. But what I do know is that when you have one of these filters, this is a top of the line HEPA filter. So it's going to take out whatever is there. And I love it. And I did this earlier, and it doesn't show terribly well. But right here up on top, it looks kind of purplish. That is actually an air filter. And if you were here, you'd see that it's really a blue. And what happens is when something picks up something, let's see. Now, can you tell that it's gone red? Mm-hmm. And I've got it on auto. So if it picks up something, it will if you have it on automatic, it will start processing it. And it's going to run and keep running that air through until it has pulled out whatever was bad in the air. And what I was spraying was just hairspray. But my patients that come through have learned to that this, and when people first come, if they come in and that turns red, they go, that thing's running faster and it's red. What is it? And I said, well, you brought me a gift, and that was very kind, but it's a germ and I really don't want it. So this is taking care of it for me. I love this. We've had a couple of other models. Every model that we've ever had, I still have, and they are still just as functional as the day that they came. In fact, these have been around for about 20 years now, and they work fine. This is our latest model. It's got the best sensor. The other thing that our air systems do is they put negative ions in the air. Now, negative ions are great for boosting your immune system. And what are we trying to do? Well, we want to keep the bad stuff away from us. We want our immune system to be running peak performance. The other thing, and you can look this up, is that negative ions help with depression. Mm-hmm. And right now, and a lot of this, I think that we need to change how we're looking at this pandemic, because if you look at pandemics, there's things that we know. Our lives are going to be different, pretty different for 2 to 5 years. Not as different as they are right now, but they're going to be different. I have business in Peru, Jeff and I do, and they said that they're going to be locked down. They're locking down their borders till July 2021. Well, there's a little bit of wisdom to that, because more than likely they won't be locked down till July 2021. But what feels better? Hearing, wow, it's March and we're opening up because it's better, or is it better to every 2 weeks say 2 weeks from now we're going to be back to normal, when that's not going to be it? And I tell people it's like this, because I'm a walker now. When I was younger, I was a runner. If you told me that the finish line was there and I got there and you said, no, just go on, it's up this way, and you run again and you get there and they go, no, it's up. Well, you become exhausted because you get your mindset that you're going to make this run and you're going to complete this. And then you keep changing the bar. And that's really what we're doing. So this is a tip for you for your own mental health. I would suggest that you set the date that you feel comfortable with. I've decided to go for the July 2021 because I'm looking to go back to Peru and work with my team there. And so it'll probably be sooner, but I'm not going to expect for my life to be normal till July 2021. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, through mindfulness, live in each day for my best life. And I will tell you, in this pandemic, crises are opportunities. In crisis, there are always ways that we can change and make our lives better. So I'm going to tell you to be scanning the horizon every single day for the positives, because there are miracles here. There's going to be great things that happen. And if you stay focused on those, every day can be a good day. I can tell you lists of things that I've already seen that have come out of this pandemic that are amazingly positive. So anyway, these are two of the products that Nikken has that I think that every household deserves to have. This isn't a sales thing. If you're interested in them, you can let me know. I will tell you that for this month, Nikken has a special where if you buy $200 worth of products, you get free shipping and you get 10% off, which is a huge savings on both of these because they are very affordable. But I mean, they're over $200. So they can, and the shipping on both of them is right around $50. So if it's something you're interested in, or if you know someone that is interested, they can be really helpful. So I've done all the talking. I want to see what questions you have. And if you have any kind of condition that you might want to know, if there's any suggestions I've got. I love teaching people how to take natural solutions and live more energetic lives, because I will tell you that the best solutions for energy are right out there in nature. This water, huge. Putting your feet on the ground, sleeping well, whole foods. I mean, we've got the basic building blocks for being healthy. So now it's your turn to chat.
Kimball, I have a question. Just getting back to water, thoughts on mineral water, Pellegrino, Tynant?
Mineralized water is very important. That's one of the things that makes ours different because we put trace minerals back in. If you're looking at a fizzy water, and I like fizzy water, but I will tell you that fizzy water is acidic. So you don't want to drink a ton of fizzy water. But water with minerals in it is very important.
Okay, thank you.
You don't want to buy water that comes in plastic containers, because all the plastic containers, like this is a reusable bottle over here and it's BPA free, but all of those bottles are, they put them in big trucks. And I mean, you think about it now. I mean, Cece and I were talking, it was like 118 in Arizona a few weeks ago. I mean, you know that any bottle that's gone through that state in a truck, it's full of those plastics. They're carcinogens. And then what's happening? We're taking these plastics and we're filling up our oceans. And, Mother Nature doesn't like this. We live on this planet because we get to be good stewards, but we're ruining it. And the dinosaurs aren't here anymore. So we've got to learn to live in balance with nature. Oh, and what I didn't tell you, both this and the water bottle, if they get broken, and I had a friend who broke mine, I just tell you, any part that you break on this, you can replace it. She broke her reservoir, figured that there was no way to fix it, and sent it to the dump, which broke my heart. But the good news is this: when they are covered in earth and the methane gas gets to them, both of those will be dust in 30 days.
Very nice. One more question about fizzy water, because I try to drink a ton of water every day. What about fizzy water in cans?
Fizzy water in cans would be better than fizzy water in plastic.
Okay.
And if you really are a fizzy water fiend, what I would really encourage you to do is you can get these machines that add the carbonation and you can make your own fizzy.
Mm-hmm.
And have a good water and make your own.
Thank you.
Kimball,
Yes.
how do you care for the water machine? I know you said that it wasn't plugged up. Does it have to have a filter replaced every so often?
The filter needs to be replaced about every 3 months if you're a family of 4. Jeff and I replace ours. Well, now we probably won't replace ours, but about every 9 months. I used to have people through here all the time, and so I was filtering a lot more water than I am now because it's just he and I. But for family 4, it's about every 3 months. The water, when you buy this, the very first year, your water ends up costing you 33 cents a gallon, and after you've absorbed the money for buying the filtration system itself with filters and rocks, it's about 11 cents a gallon. And Walmart water is like 59 cents a gallon. So it's, it's the most economic that you can get. And I will tell you that with these 2 products, I have a story. I love to tell this. So my youngest son was in high school when we got these products. He had a nosebleed every spring, every fall from allergies. I bought one of these, and we lived in a Cape Cod at the time, and I put it at the bottom of the stairwell, and his room was upstairs. He never had another nosebleed after that, and I would say it's because of the filter, and he would poo-poo me. Well, he went off to college, and he called me in the fall, and he said, "Mom, guess what? I just had a nosebleed." And I said, and he said, "It might be something that." He said, "Mom, would it be possible to get an air filtration system for my room?" And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Mom, would it be possible to get a water filtration system in our dorm room?" And I said, "Sure." Well, my son lives in American Samoa now. The water system and the air system went to law school at Wake Forest. Then it went to Minnesota when he found the love of his life. And now he's been in American Samoa for 3 years, and it'll be coming back if the island opens up where he can get off. It'll be coming back to Colorado in February. So same system. These are products that really last. And
Will it tell you? Okay, I'm sorry.
On the water system, it will tell you. It doesn't have a light or anything. The way it will tell you that it needs a new filter is that the water will start running really, really slow.
Okay.
On the air filter, it has a little thing that changes color and lets you know you need to change the filter.
Okay. Thanks.
Welcome.
How often do you have to change the filter on the air filtration system?
Well, it really depends on how dirty your air is. They say once a year, but some of mine, it's been as much as 2.5 or 3 years. It really is going to depend on your air. I had a client that got one of these recently, and they called me up and they said it's burning red, and it's just continuing to burn red. And we called corporate and we did all this, and then she called me and she said it stopped burning red, it's doing blue. And so then I had her use some hairspray like I did and test it out, and it would go back. And I said, well, it must have taken that long. And I can tell you, if there's something bad in your air, it will run red for a long time. I've actually, this was years ago, but I was carrying coffee to an event, and I had creamer in my back seat, and it turned over and went down in the carpet. And I got at it as well as I could, but it was a bad scene. And I took my air filtration system and I put it in the car and closed up as much as I could and ran it. And I had it plugged in, and it ran for about 2 days, but it pulled, because it was bacteria down in that. It pulled all that in 2 days. You didn't know it, and it did. It changed color the whole time that it was doing that, but it took that out. So, it's going to depend on your air.
So what square footage of a room or a house would one filtration system do? or would you need more than one?
Well, Nick is a company that usually under promises and over delivers. I told you that I had one of these. It says that one of these for a room, an average size room. In our home that we lived before this, it was a 1,800 square foot house that had up 2 rooms upstairs. And my son's room was at the top of the stairs, and he's the one that stopped having the nosebleeds when we had it. And he was a teenager, mind you. So where he lived was his room. Our bedroom was downstairs. His bedroom was upstairs. He really liked that because teenagers don't want to be around their parents, but so much. And it changed the air quality enough that he didn't have the issues with his allergies until he went away to college, and he didn't have it anymore.
Okay. Well, I don't have a big house. That's why I wondered. I figured one unit would probably cover my house.
For your house, I think one would be fine. Now, one of the things I'll tell you, if you live in a small house and somebody gets sick, take the air system and move it into the room with them. And have it sit by their bed. And that way, if you're carrying things in and out to them, all the air that they're breathing is going directly into this. I mean, here, most of my patients now, we're doing telehealth. But there are some things that I do with NLP and hypnotherapy that I just can't do it. I don't feel like I can do it telehealth. So I've seen a couple of people, and I see them in this room because my living room is a very large room, and I can sit them on a couch over there, and you can't see it, but I've got one of the older filters sitting right by where I'm going to put where they sit, and then I have this by me, and by doing that, I feel safe enough for them to have their mask off because I need to be able to see their face to do the work that I do.
Barbara, if you put it right next to your air intake, you'll get the most bang for your buck.
Well, I don't actually have an air intake, but I do have a window air conditioning unit. That would be the thing. But I'm thinking if I put it in my living room, that would be the key. You know why I want it, so yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just put it in the center of the house then.
Yeah, well, that would be in the living room, so that would be easy.
And I have another little story about this. So I told you that my mom had congestive heart failure and she had COPD. And she was dependent on oxygen probably for 4 years before she died. I'll tell you what she used to use this for, and she loved it because I got one for her. And she would take her oxygen off and she would turn it up to high. And if I can get it to. So when you turn it up to high, it's blowing out this nice, cool air that is full of negative ions. And she would sit and breathe over it, and her O2 sats would stay up without her having her oxygen on. And because we checked it, because we were like, Mom, you can't take the oxygen off. And she said, it feels good, and it feels good to my lungs. So we checked her, and as long as she breathed that in, her O2 stats stayed up. And she said, it feels so good. Well, I'm pretty sure what she was feeling is it's generating negative ions, and those negative ions do feel good to your lungs. So anybody that's got somebody in their family that has allergies or asthma or any of those things, this is just, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have.
Kimball, does it filter carbon dioxide as well, like the CO2?
You know, I've never had that question asked. And
Well, you know why I'm wondering, because he went back to the hospital yesterday. He's in ICU at Rex, so I don't know if that's something that would help him.
I'm going to tell you this, and in Nicon, we don't diagnose, we don't treat, we don't cure. But I'm a nurse, and I'm going to tell you this, Barbara. He needs not a CPAP to sleep on. He needs a BiPAP. He is what we call a pink puffer.
Right, that's what he's on now. That's what they had to put him back on.
Does not get the CO2, and they should have sent him home with one.
They haven't yet. Yeah.
That's you all need to be very ugly to the staff there until they write an order about that so that he comes home with it. I'm just telling you how this works.
All right, no, good. No, that's good, because this is getting ridiculous, if you know what I mean. I mean, he not even home 2 weeks, and he's right back there in ICU. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, a BiPAP, I mean, when you have emphysema, those things, they are degenerative and they get worse and worse. But what we do know is that if you're a CO2 retainer and you use a BiPAP, it's pulling it off at night, and that can be very, very helpful.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm gonna have to be ugly then.
I think of it as assertive. I mean, I guess they'll call you a nasty woman, but I kind of embrace that.
And some other swear words that I've heard before too, but yeah, okay.
You've got, we have to stand up. And you know what I found about women is women a lot of times have a hard time standing up for themselves, but most of the time women do really well when they're standing up for those people that they love. Their children and their husbands, they're the mama bear.
Well, this is the third time he's been in the hospital this year, and twice just within the last 3 weeks. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. I mean, hello, somebody needs to wake up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they don't want the BiPAP is more expensive than the CPAP. That's why they don't want to send it out, but he needs one.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of obvious, but what do I know, right? I'm not medical. Yeah. I'm going to tell him, Kimball said, do you not? If you don't, you should. She can change your life.
That's right. I tell you what, I like, there's nothing that makes than being able to share something with somebody and them being able to say that I've made a difference. I love stories, and there's a friend of mine that Barbara knows as well. In fact, he's the person that bought all the water systems. And one of my favorite stories right now is that I was telling him about a product we have called Clarity, which is good for memory, and it's got fermentation in it. It's all organic, and that it helped. And he said, well, I have a nephew who's autistic. Do you think it would help him? And I said, well, I would try it. I said, there's no contraindications. And he sent it up to his niece. And a week after this kid started using this, the teacher called the mom and said, have the doctors changed the medicines? There's something so different, and he's doing so much better. And there had been no medication changes. He had started taking the Clarity. So now my 85-year-old father, who uses all of these products, and he was a research scientist and used to say, oh, this is all hocus pocus. He loves these things. And after I heard that, I was like, well, he's got to try the Clarity. So he's giving that a roll now, because, as we age, none of us, I don't think, I've got a pretty good memory, but it's not quite as good as it was when I was in my 20s. So I like things that help along. And that's the fun part. And if you know anybody who's been downsized, right-sized, wrong-sized, there's a business opportunity with this. And it's a great way, whether you want to make $200 extra a month or if you want to make more. It's not a get-rich scheme. It's just you have to work and you have to share. But one of the things that I know is that every time I share one of these products and somebody uses it, their life is changed for the better. And I believe that we will get through this pandemic the way we get through everything, because we are all one. And, we're all in it together. So it's all about helping each other. And so,
Kimball, if I can convince a 21-year-old about a product and change his life and didn't even have to do anything but put a piece of tape on him when he hurt his foot, oh my gosh. I mean, that's like the most incredible thing to me. I mean, some people get it, but to take a 21-year-old and I just started to say, Mom, my foot hurts really bad. And I was like, well, I can help you, but if you don't want help, I'm not going to force anything on you. And he's like, well, will you help me? And I'm like, sure. So I put that tape on, and then he thought it was better and took it off the next day. And then after work, he came home that day hobbling again and said, I took that tape off. Can you put more tape on? And I mean, that was just proof in the pudding right there. So it just made my day,
What Barbara's talking about is that we have a tape. It's like a kinetic tape, only it has special fibers, have the sun's reflective ability in it. Some people call that infrared. And when you put it on an area, it will decrease inflammation, it will decrease pain, it increases blood flow. So it's like putting heat and ice on at the same time. And it's a very wonderful product. I keep some with me all the time, and if you have an accident, it's great to use there. If you've got tired muscles, it's also wonderful. So
That's what first aid kit in a roll, Kimball. That's what I call it.
it really is. It really is. So I promised everybody who's a guest, I promised that I would send you a little care package. So now I want to know what you like, and I'm going to tell you what your options are. I can send you a little bit of the magic tape, as we call, that you could put on somewhere that it hurts. I can send you, we have a wonderful anti-inflammatory cream called CM Cream that was developed, it's acetylmethylstoliate is what is the agent in it, which is a fatty ester. And it was developed at NIH in the late 50s. And it's the best anti-inflammatory cream that I've ever used. You just rub it on. In fact, the best results is you rub it and then you keep going back and you do it 9 or 10 times. And every time you do, that fatty ester penetrates further. And it will, when you do that, you'll find that places that are bruised, or if there's a cut, they'll heal up quicker, or if you've got a sore muscle. So that's an option. We also have a shake mix that I've got mine. I've been so busy this morning after I got back from my walk. I've got it all drank. But it's a protein shake mix that has less than 4 carbs, no sugar, less than a gram of sugar, and it has 20 proteins, but it's got medium chain triglycerides. That's the product that my father swears by for his memory. I will send you a sample of it. Or if you have a picky kid that doesn't like to eat, I've got a vegan chocolate drink mix that has become a real favorite around my house, even though we don't have any kids here right now. But it's 3 servings of organic vegetables in it, and it tastes like Hershey's chocolate. I actually throw that in my shake mix a lot in the afternoon. Those are the choices for what you like. So everybody tell me what you want so that I'll be able to mail it out to you on Monday, because that's the fun part, you know, when you get through the party and you get to give the little favors out. I mean, I love that part. Don't be shy.
I think I want to try the tape for my husband. If I can get him to, if I could get him to say, this makes sense, I might can go a little bit further with the stuff that I asked for. So,
all righty, I will get that for you, Melissa.
Kimball, I'd love to try one of the shake mixes, one or
Okay.
the other.
All right, I will send you the shake mix. And
Thank you.
Emily, what would you like to take?
I'll try the tape.
The tape, okay. All righty. All right, we're going to finish up now, but there's one thing I like to do. I always like to finish with something positive. So if there has been a positive that you've experienced in this, I'm calling it the pandemic possibility era. If there's been something positive that has come into your life, I'd love for you to share it, because, you know, thoughts are vibrational energy, and those thoughts that we have raise us up. And I would like, as we finish up today, to finish up on high notes. I'll go first.
Okay.
I've got a son in American Samoa. I've got an 85-year-old dad here. I've got a kid at the beach, one in Atlanta, people all over the place, and a brother that he and I were at warp speed and not seeing each other that much. And now we're doing regular Zooms and seeing each other. And it feels like our family is closer together than we were my son's been in American Samoa for 3 years. So this has been pretty amazing. And I am very grateful that this pandemic became the catalyst for that.
I'll go.
Okay.
So ours started from a chalk text. We put it on the street in the very beginning, and it was this little guy that we didn't know anything about him. we just would see him and we would write pretty pictures and trolls, and we decorated the whole half of the street. And so a few weeks later, maybe 2, we left something outside and somebody came to our door and said, "You left something out by the road." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, thank you so much." And we started chatting and she said, "My son just loves all your drawings." And we were like, "That's so great. How old is he?" Because we were trying to figure out, is it the same kid that we're thinking about? And, "Oh, he just turned 6 and it was his birthday and he was so sad and he can't go back to kindergarten and this whole thing is just killing him almost." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So we made more pictures for him. We still didn't know him, but we just made more pictures for him. Well, then it was, I don't know, another time she walked past and she stopped by and just said hello from the road. And then we found out that she lived just down the street and around the corner. So we went and put something on their door and kind of just forgot about it. It was just a little bag, a book, a little kid's book, and just some little granola bars and snacks, good snacks. And about 2-3 days later, we started getting rocks in our yard, rocks that were painted. And I was like, "Who the heck is putting rocks in my yard?" They were so cute. And I just wanted to see this person and thank them. And the next thing I know, I saw him. Sydney saw him, our 9-year-old, from the window. And we ran out the door before he got away. And we asked him, and he said, "Oh, you caught me." And it was this little 6-year-old being so embarrassed, but so excited. And he's like, "Did you put books on my door?" And it created this amazing friendship that I'm certain I will go to Jesus with. And my kids, her kids, it's just a very good thing. They were locked up in their house and all they had was their walk. And we were locked up in our house and all we had was the sidewalk. And so I guess just with that, it's created some really wonderful love.
That's adorable.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anybody else got something?
I'll go.
Okay, go, Melissa.
Okay. I think that the pandemic has really made my family aware of each other a little bit more. We were really busy before, with the business, and just kind of pulled us apart in the busyness. So the pandemic has made us become closer. I'm able to do devotionals and Bible teachings with my children as well as my husband, when he cooperates. But he's there, he's much better. But he's been slipping and sliding here now lately, so I'm trying to wheel him back in. But just to be able to have that family time that we were just going. Life is just busy, and you're just going and you're just doing and you're just going and you're just doing, and you never really stop to take the time to value those kids or that spouse, or it's just busy. I'm just going, moving. Well, the pandemic has stopped us from doing that. And so I think that it's brought us closer, certainly. I just wish that it wasn't under these circumstances. Like, why did it have to take a train wreck, to stop you? It'd be nice if we were able to recognize that before the pandemic. But that's the good thing for my family. One of the good things is just us being able to sit and not be so busy and hang out and have fun with each other.
Anybody else got anything?
Well, the pandemic sort of really decreased my business, obviously. And so for 2 months, it was really touch and go. But the thing that I notice is that although my volume is down, the number of the real therapy I'm doing is much up. Instead of doing lots of relaxation massage, I'm a medical massage therapist, and I'm getting a lot of therapeutic patients, and my colonic business is soaring. So I'm able to help a lot of people. And I had this woman call me. I was on my bicycle coming to work, and she called me, and I usually don't answer, but I have earbuds, and I answered this time. And she said, I just want to tell you that this is the first time in my adult life I'm going to the bathroom every day. I'm moving my bowels every day. You know, when you hear things like that, it's like, oh, this is really good. So, yeah, so that's the high point right now.
That is awesome.
I'll go next. I guess it's allowed you and I to get a little closer, spend more time together, and reconnect with family that were kind of hanging out there. And I guess the other thing is starting another business during this time period, and that seems to be going very, very well. And that's been a blessing.
I'll go next. Kimball, this touches upon something I had said yesterday. I'm just lowering the amount of noise in my family or in my life with cleaning up social media, being very select about when I listen and consume news. And I do feel, I feel like my energy is shifting. It's adjusting to the challenges of the time. And it has allowed me to remain present for everyone in my family. It's not a success every day, but I think I'm certainly in a better place than I would have been if I didn't get rid of some distractions.
I'm sorry. I have to go. My next client is here. Kimball, I'll be in touch with you.
Be in touch.
This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone stay safe.
Yes,
You
you
too.
too, Emily.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Anybody else got one they want to share? If not, I'll send this to her. Here's the red jelly bean. So if you're a red jelly bean or pink, they're courageous, their energy seems boundless, they smile much of the time, will ask another person what the problem is if she or he is not smiling, genuinely cares about people and becomes involved in others' problems, is highly influenced by others, shares their sadness or grief, makes decisions with his or her heart, acts on impulses of the heart, spends a great deal of time on the phone, usually listening to others, and is a sensitive, enthusiastic friend or lover. The pink jelly bean person can be a skilled brown noser. She often volunteers to do a little more, especially with the superintendent or principal out, and it sounds like she's doing it out of the right reasons. And the red jelly bean person can be extremely frustrated, and in fact, researchers would like for you to submit your name and address for future research.
What if you don't like jelly beans?
Well, you've got to choose a color because it's really, this is really done by
It's
color.
just the color, not the taste.
I would tell people because, and when you do it in person, you absolutely can't ever get those jelly bellies because then you will completely screw it up because people are going with the flavor and not the color. And there is a science to the colors that we're attracted to and how we're all put together, which is kind of fun.
Right.
Look, I know you all have lots of things you want to do on your Saturday. There's lots of places you could have chosen to be. I'm very honored that you came for our little party, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to get you a goodie in the mail, and I hope to see you all soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.